How's it, guys? Welcome back to the live stream. And today I'll be going over the crypto market news and everything that has to do with crypto, as well as go through a couple charts at the end of the video, just to show you guys my thoughts around what's happening in the crypto scene. And so let's get straight into it. So, of course, you guys have heard of Luno. It's one of the biggest crypto exchanges in South Africa. And what's actually happening is, so they began in 2013, right? And so what happened was, with this, they received a seed investment of around a couple million in terms of dollars from a group called Digital Currency Group, known as DCG, and they grew as a result of this. And what's also happening with that, they have a few offices in Cape Town, Joburg, and other countries. And so DCG has a diverse portfolio in cryptocurrency businesses, including Genesis. And obviously you've heard about the whole Genesis saga. So what happened with that, Genesis Trading, they halt withdrawals in the lending units on Friday last week. And they were struggling to raise money, and they were warned that they need to file for bankruptcy. And both Luna and Genesis were owned by US parent company DCG, like I said. So there's a lot of worry with Luna at the moment and everything that's happening with this company. So suggestions for Luna, if you have funds in there, just make sure you do your own research and see what's happening with this specifically, because obviously with the whole FTX collapse, there might be a lot of distrust within these types of exchanges. And then obviously with Sam Bankman-Fried, so they're having a hearing in December. So basically lawmakers in the United States of America have announced that they will be holding a hearing on the collapse of FTX. And FTX and its officers will soon face inquiry from the US Congress, according to Reuters. And so with that said, the hearing is going to be in December, and they will seek testimony from representatives of FTX, Alameda Research, and Binance, as well as Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX founder and owner. And what they think is going to happen is he's going to try to testify on behalf of FTX, and this is probably going to be the most watched event that's going to be happening in the crypto industry within the next years to come. So this is very important. It's in December, so make sure you watch this, as it's going to be a very important update on the crypto industry. And then next up, this was very interesting. So Apple is one of the biggest tech and communications in the world. So what they're trying to do, they're trying to keep afloat with the whole metaverse and virtual reality and all of that type of scene. And they're trying to get control of the entire market. So they've been posting several jobs. In the field of virtual reality, augmented reality, and engineers experienced in 3D mixed reality world for the technology development group and the virtual reality division of the company. So Apple has been creating their own AR, VR platform for a while, and so this is very big, as it also gives a lot more trust in the crypto industry when a big company like Apple gets involved in the metaverse, because this pushes the crypto scene, and everyone will start to be a bit more forward when investing in crypto. So this is very big news. And then also looking at the fear and greed index. So this basically shows you how fearful the market is. So when you look at this, the extreme fear would be 0, would be extreme fear, and then 100 would be extreme greed. So we're currently in extreme fear, which is 20, and as you can see, if I go to the last 3 months, so this is basically a chart of it. The last time we were above 20 was a couple days ago, but we are currently going down, And you can see here, so now we're 20, yesterday was 20, last week was 23, and then last month was 33. So we are currently going down, which means a lot of people are getting more nervous, or they don't want to invest in crypto. But when I see the extreme fear go down like this, I expect the opportunity to actually get into crypto. As you've heard, buy the fear, not the greed. It's a brilliant saying that I've learned. And then also I've got a few Twitter tweets that are very interesting. So this shows you the markets of Bitcoin, how much realized loss that's been happening. So you can see on Friday, last Friday, there was 1.9 billion of realized loss within the crypto scene. And this is very, very interesting because you can see this was the fourth largest daily realized loss in history, with 2.2 billion during lunar collapse, which was also this year, 2.2 billion in June of 2021, the start of the bear markets, and then 2.5 billion in June when it was sub 20. So this is just a chart showing you exactly where the dates were. So you can see here, this is when Bitcoin was almost at the all-time high, and then you can see how much people lost money there. The lunar collapse over here, June 2022, which was also after the lunar collapse, and then obviously the FTX. So this was just an interesting fact to look at. And then looking over here, so Bitcoin mining has been exponential in terms of the mining rate. So you can see the hash price is at an all-time low, whilst the price is going up. So a lot of people are worrying about all of this because it's so expensive to mine Bitcoin at the moment. So with that said, a lot of people are trying to reduce their mining power because of the price of Bitcoin. So if the Bitcoin was $60,000 US, then a lot more people would be mining due to it being so expensive, and it won't be, they can pay off their mining fees with the cost of Bitcoin. But because Bitcoin's so low now, it's not a good sign, and the hash price is also very low. So that's very interesting to look at. So you can see with Bitcoin prices is now down over 76% from the peak. The mining industry remains under immense pressure. So it's very, very interesting. And then also here, so this is to do with exchanges. So obviously with the whole FTX collapse and Genesis and all of that happening, and with Luna now in South Africa, a lot of scare in the market. A lot of people are withdrawing funds from exchanges. So you can see here, it says all Bitcoin which flowed into exchanges since Jan 2018 has now been withdrawn, which is it's good for the crypto industry because it means that people are still holding on their Bitcoin. But it's bad because a lot more people that want to get into crypto are scared of going onto exchanges because their money might be lost. So, I mean, in the future of crypto, it's definitely there. It's just at the moment for new investors, this is not a good sign. And it just has a picture showing you exactly what's happening. So, yeah, this was very interesting to look at. And then, yeah, that's pretty much all on the news side. There's a lot of charting that I want to go over. I think it's very important. We're at a critical stage right now where price has to break certain levels. So let's just get into that. So first of all, I want to go over this chart. I was speaking about it in my last live. So with this chart, you can see this is the trend line from 2017, and this is on the weekly chart. So if I bring out my tool here, so you can see we came up, we formed an all-time high here, and then we retested this trend line, came up, retested, came up, and then now we've actually retested this trend line. So what I expect for Bitcoin at the moment when looking on the weekly, if we're coming down to lower levels, so this level here, which was my title of the video, Bitcoin to 12,000, it's very likely, because if we have to break this zone here, then we can definitely come down to this level, because you can see how many times this has acted as resistance. So we have over here a lot of liquidity is trapped over here, and look at the resistance there. So if this trend line breaks, there's a massive downturn to this zone over here. So we just have to keep an eye on this trend line. This is a weekly chart, so it is for a longer time frame. But if we hold this trend line and we break highs above 20,000, because that's our recent high, we have to break that high in order for us to be bullish again. So at the moment, we're currently holding this zone, so it's very important. But if we don't, we can definitely come down to this 12,000 area. So that's currently why I'm looking at that 12,000 area zone. It's definitely a possibility. We can't rule it out. And then let's just get into some other charts that I've been looking at. So this is, but let me just wait for it to load. Yeah, so I was speaking about this chart here in the last live as well. So you can see that we had this bullish divergence. So you can see we're forming lower lows on the price, as well as we're forming higher lows on the RSI. So this is an indication of bullish divergence, and it seems like it is kind of playing out at the moment, where we do have some type of doji formed on this week. And so if this had to push up, then we'd be looking for a runner. So it's looking good for this to play out, as this has been the first bullish divergence in Bitcoin history on the weekly chart. And the last time we had that bearish divergence over here, we actually fell down all the way to this level. So this is quite interesting, and if this plays out, I mean, we could see that 21,000 break, but we would have to break above this zone here. So this does look like it might play out, but I mean, it is on the weekly, and we just need to make sure that it's valid. So then looking at smaller time frames, it's just loading. Sorry about this. Okay, so we're looking at a 4-hour chart. You can see that we are currently at a very important level. So what I was looking at here is we needed to break these highs here in order for us to be bullish again. So you can see yesterday we came up to this zone here, and we got trapped out. We needed to break this high, so we formed a double top here. You can see here we formed that double top. So in order for us to come up again, we needed to break this high here and then form a new low. But at the moment we're not forming a lower low. So if price formed a lower low now, then it would look like we might come down, but we actually haven't. We formed a higher low. So you can see that this low here is higher than this low over here. So it's looking quite good for Bitcoin at the moment. And what I expect to happen is when putting out the fixed range volume profile, I'll explain how this works now. It's a very good tool to use to see where the most volume has been traded. So you bring it from whatever range you want. So I'll bring it from this range to over here, and it basically shows you where the most volume has been traded. So you can see that this red line over here has formed significant support and resistance. You can see how much liquidity is sitting here. So in order for us to be bullish, we have to break this zone. You can see we are coming up a bit now. So there is a lot of buying pressure at the moment. The bulls are stepping in, so we have to break this zone, and essentially we have to make sure that we break this high in order for us to come back to the 17,000 level, because you can see that's the next level where there's a lot of volume. So there'll be a lot of shorts placed at these levels. So a lot of bears will come in and take out the liquidity here. As you can see on the left here, we have a lot of shorts that are sitting up here. So what's happening now is it looks like we are going to get that push up to the upside, and we need to break this high over here. It's very important for Bitcoin at the moment. So in order for us to do that, we need to get a large volume spike. So this volume has to be a bit bigger than the previous red volume here. So this has to get broken, number one, and our point of control we need to find support here and then break. So yeah, that's pretty much Bitcoin, and then I'll come back to it at the end. But this is Ethereum that I've been looking at. I'll show you guys what Ethereum is looking like. So on the 4-hour time frame, we are making these higher highs and higher lows. So this is what I was looking at with Ethereum. You can see this trend line I drew here, this black trend line coming down here. How many times we've touched it, and we've actually retested these levels. So you can see we broke out, came back down, retested it, and now we're looking for that push up. So we're at an important level at the moment. We are getting a push up. So what we need to break these highs here in order for us to be bullish again. So I'll draw the zone so you guys can see it. It will be over here. This high here needs to get broken. You can see we came into this zone over here. It was yesterday we came into the zone and then fall back down. So we need to break this zone here in order for us to push up back to this 2-hour resistance. So we need something like this, where price comes up, push, and then back up to this 2-hour resistance. So that's what I'm looking at for Ethereum, and there's not much else to it. You can see that we are forming these higher lows. So yeah, this was a low, another low here, a low here, and then we actually formed a higher low. So we are in this uptrend on the 4-hour. So it's quite important where we are now. If we break this level here, where we're at now, this blue zone, as you can see, there's a lot of resistance and support over here. If we lose that level, then we can come back to the 2-hour, but it looks like we are looking for that push up. So that's quite interesting for Ethereum. So what I'll be looking for, I would be looking for longs only if we break this zone over here. So I'll draw that out just so you guys can see. So over here, this is what I would do, something like this, where I would probably put a long only on the retest. So we would have to have a clean break through here. So a candle needs to close above here and then come down and then retest and then up into the zone. So if that happens, then it would be valid, but I wouldn't go if the candle doesn't break properly through the zone. We would have to see a candle break and a close. But at the moment, I wouldn't want to be longing at this point over here either, because we have been sitting at the zone for the last couple days / weeks. So this zone, it is a buying zone. As you can see, we've bounced off here, but we need to break these highs in order for us to be bullish again on the shorter time frame. So that's Ethereum. And then also I wanted to go over XRP. This was very interesting. So XRP's been having all those law cases, and they've actually come out stronger than ever with new updates. So if I come to here, there's a lot of technical analysis on XRP at the moment, and it has been rising, and the next the next resistance zone should be that 0.65 area. I'll put it out on the chart, and all their law cases are looking quite sound and looking good for a move up. So you can see we got that retest trade that I was looking at. So price came up to the zone. You can see how we broke. So this is what I was talking about Ethereum. What we need to see for Ethereum is literally what's happening on this chart here. So you can see we broke through this level, we came down, we retested this zone, and then we came back up. So that's what we are going to look for with Ethereum when I go back there now, just to show you over here. So we need to see that same outcome where we get a break and then a retest. So XRP has done just that. I mean, that candle there is already yeah, that was a 6% candle on the 4 hour. So that would have been a good trade to take. And then with XRP, it looks like our next zones that we need to look at would be over here. So I'll draw that out so you can see this zone over here. You can see there's a lot of support at this area. So we have over here, wicked into here, over here, and even over here it formed resistance. So this next zone here would be the 0.45 zone, and if we come up to this zone, there will be a lot of shorts over there. As you can see, there's a lot of liquidity, a lot of buying volume that has happened in the past, so shorters will be sitting at these areas, and it looks like it might be valid for that. We are currently testing this high over here, so I'll put an arrow there. So we're currently testing this high over here, and if we get a bounce off here, then we definitely can see that push up to the zone. So that's quite important with XRP. So I'll be looking at maybe if there is a next candle here that forms a doji with indecision, and then we'll get that push up. So that 0.45 zone is definitely the zone to look at for XRP. And then I was looking at Chainlink as well. So Chainlink has been doing well. If you look at a higher perspective, you can see, I'll come back to that in just a second. So with Chainlink, I spoke about this in the last live, and it's a very good pair to trade because of what's been happening with Link, and it's been doing so well compared to the other cryptos. So you can see we've been trading in this range since May, and the amount of times we've been bouncing off this range has been pretty much every single time. So the odds of us bouncing off here was very likely, and you can see now we were in this kind of descending channel. So we came down, retested this level, came up, retested, and we were trading in this zone. We had a fake out, came back down to this zone, and now we're looking at potential longs. So this would also be a good trade because we broke above this key zone over here. That retest trade strategy definitely works for these types of trades. So we had this resistance zone over here. We had a break, came down, and then a push up. So our next zone for Chainlink would be at around this zone over here. You can see there's a lot of resistance here. If you bring this back, how much? So we had the resistance over here, support, and then resistance over here, and then support over here. So this zone over here is definitely the next one to look at, because we might have a fresh clean break over this zone and look for more longs. So Link's actually looking very strong. We have this 4-hour candle that's pushing up. We'll need to see maybe a closure above that 6.97 for us to be confident in this, but you can see we did have that retest trade where price came back, and we're looking at that type of level. So with Link, that would have been a good trade to come through here to the top, and then stop loss below this previous wick. That would have been a very good risk to reward, as your stop loss is very small with retest trading. So that's with Chainlink. And then looking at I wanted to go through Bitcoin again. I wanted to show you guys this chart I found. So when zooming out here, so because it's Black Friday today, and historically with Black Friday, so I've marked it out on the chart. So in 2019 on Black Friday, we actually dumped 17.91% over from Black Friday over a couple of days, and then in 2020 we dumped 15% within 2 days on Black Friday and then the next day, and then in 2021 we dumped 10% on Black Friday. So if looking at this historically, we should be dumping, but it's just a fact. It's just a nice thing to look at. It doesn't mean we're gonna do it. It's just something interesting that I looked at. So that's basically with Bitcoin. I've gone over. Yeah, I wanted to go over the dollar because the dollar's actually been dumping very hard. And what's a bit irritating at the moment is the dollar is not correlated to Bitcoin anymore, because normally what would happen is if the dollar increases, Bitcoin normally goes down. So with that, it's not happening due to the FTX crash, Genesis, Celsius, pretty much like Luna, when everything started to happen with all these exchanges and coins coming down, Bitcoin has kind of faded away from the inverse relationship that it had with the dollar, but eventually it will catch up. So with the dollar, we were in this parabolic curve that I've mentioned in the last live, and we broke this down to the downside, and we were forming this bear flag kind of pattern, and we came down to this support zone where in order for the dollar to get broken, they would need to have a strong push to the downside over here. Then a retest would probably happen, and then back down to the 101. And if the dollar would have to retrace, so let's just say the dollar retraces back to some key zones, so back up to this high, for instance, Bitcoin could find itself going down to the downside because of that. So, but because the dollar isn't correlated to Bitcoin anymore, well, not anymore, but because of the whole FTX crash, we just have to wait and see what's happening. But the dollar has been losing strength, and it looks like it's definitely topped out. If you're also looking at it on a higher time frame, so you can see that was our high. We've made that high, and it looks like even on the weekly on the RSI, we did have that bearish divergence as well. So we had price coming up, and then on the RSI we had price coming down. So it was due for a dump, and if price actually breaks this level, then that 101 is definitely in sight, and you can see that's a significant zone where we found resistance there in March 2020. So that's pretty much Dixie, and then yeah, I mean, looking at all these charts, I've gone over a few altcoins that I've been looking at. XRP is looking good for that pump to the upside still. There's still a lot of zones that may happen here, so I'll just go over this again. You can see we at that crucial zone. So if I draw a line here, you can see this is the previous resistance zone. So if we get a bounce off here, it will be valid for that long, and we could look for potential up to this zone over here. So you can see there's a lot of support at these zones, and that's the 0.45 zone. So XRP has been finding so much strength in the markets, which is very interesting, compared to a lot of other coins like Litecoin, for example. I actually took a trade on Litecoin earlier, and it was down. It was from this drop over here, because I saw that there was a lot of volume coming in from this previous candle, and at the moment it's actually pumping quite hard. So a lot of altcoins are finding their own paths at the moment, because the Bitcoin dominance is actually coming down, which obviously gives a lot of other coins more relief rally time for it to go up. You can see Litecoin actually has been pumping since the 22nd of November. We had that 35% pump with Litecoin, which is very interesting, even with the whole bear market and everything. So there's a lot of money to be made, especially in the bear markets. but at the moment, what I'll be looking for is this chart over here. So this is, if this gets broken, if this line gets broken, then we definitely can come to that 12,000 area, and I honestly think that would be the area of complete bottom. But I mean, it's kind of impossible to know. But at the moment, what I'm looking at is if we get that bounce, in order for us to be bullish again, we have to break this zone here, this 21,000 zone, because that was the previous high, and we are forming these higher highs and higher lows. I mean, lower highs and lower lows. So, but if this trend line gets broken, we can get to this zone, this 12,000 zone, and it's quite important to just watch this. Yeah, so that's pretty much my take. And if you guys have any questions, I'll be answering them now. I'll just put them in the chat and I'll look at them now. And thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like the video as well, and also subscribe. I'll look at the comments right now. Yeah, with on CoinW, yeah, they are adding more coins at the moment. They've added Matic. Yeah, they're carrying on to add every week. I'm not too sure with the whole compliance and everything, but they are adding more coins. So yeah, you don't need to worry about that. And yeah, so like I said, with the bull run, so I think if we come into this 12,000 zone, we can definitely expect the price to come up to, that's the start of the bull run. That's honestly where I think the ultimate bottom is. But so there's two scenarios with that that I think is going to happen. So we're gonna, if we break this 21,000 zone, then we can get that bull run start. But if we can't, if we come down to this 12,000 zone, if this trend line gets broken, then this is where the bull run starts. So I mean, it's hard to know exactly when we're going to get there, but the scenarios would be a break below here would cause us to come to this 12,000, and that's when a lot of buyers are sitting at. So you can see there's a lot of resistance there, and with if we actually break that 21,000 that high, then I think the bull run will start above here. So at the moment we're kind of in an indecision range. We don't really know what to expect, but I mean, we have to break this zone for us to come up, and alternatively if we break this trend line, then we will come up from there. So that's my two zones to look at. And yeah, any other questions? So, what other coins are you wanting to trade on CoinW, Abcan? Is there specific ones you've been looking at? Because majority of them are there, like the best altcoins are there that you can trade. So, but yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the markets at the moment. I mean, intraday trades are looking good for longs because of the fact we didn't make that lower low. You can see here we didn't make this lower low. If we made a lower low here, then we'd look for shorts at these zones. But because we are currently making higher lows and higher highs on the 1 hour, it's still valid uptrends. You can see over here we are making these higher lows. So in order for us to come up to the 17,100 area, we need to break this area over here. So that's pretty much Bitcoin. Yeah, so the title of the video was Bitcoin to 12,000, and that was just my thoughts if we had to break that area that I was speaking about. So that's the ultimate bottom that I think that's going to happen. I mean, it's personal opinion. And yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, so I think that comes to the end of the video. Thanks so much everyone for who are watching. Please make sure you give it a like as well. And yeah, next week I'll be speaking about other controversies in the markets and going over some more altcoins. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you give it a like and subscribe. Thanks so much for following.